Alright, picking up right back where we left off. Let's add, let me make sure. Yeah, we're recording. Alright. So let's add all of our inventory stuff to our menu widget. So to do that, we're going to open up the menu. And inside the graph, we're going to get rid of the pre-construct and the tick. And on event construct, we want to cast to our player. For the object, we want to get the player character. This will get all the stuff associated with the character values at index 0. And we're going to promote this to a variable called player reference. Then I'm going to right click and create a custom event called build inventory. I just like to keep everything separate personally. Helps keep everything nice and neat. I know where to go exactly to fix things up. Now, one thing we want to add to our player real quick. So inside the player blueprint, inside the variables list, we want to add one variable of an integer called inventory. Inventory size. This will let the game know how big we want our inventory to be. I am going to default this to 25. But you can set yours to whatever you like. And the reason we're doing that is because for us to build the inventory, we're going to run a for loop, which basically builds an array of indexes and then runs through it however many times. So to mess with our for loop right, let's create 3 variables. These will also be integers. So first one is going to be row. Second one's column. And then the third one will be the row size. And these will all be integers. 2 of them you'll leave at 0, but the row size, I'm going to set it to 5 because this will tell it to run through the list 5 times, move on to the next, move 5. So it'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll see in a minute. So the first thing we want to do when we build the inventory, because we might have to call this multiple times, and we're going to be increasing this as the inventory is being built, we want to make sure these are defaulted back to 0. So that way that it's always building correctly every time. Then we want to right click and create a for loop. Not a for each, not a for each with break, but down here under flow control you'll see for loop. What this does is it will create this is the thing that creates the array of the indexes based on this value and this value. So we'll hook that right there. Because this is going to compare to our inventory, which starts at 0, we want to make sure this starts at 0. Because this will be whatever number it's currently working on. So we want to make sure that the first index is 0. We will drag out our player reference and get our inventory array. Oh, no. The inventory size. That's right. For this one, we want the inventory size. Now, we don't want to hook it directly to it because that'll give us 26 instances since we set this to 25. You can do this one of 2 ways. You can set this to 24 inside the player blueprint. I just usually just subtract 1 from it here. I guess I just saw too many of the Titanic Games tutorials where he just did it this way, so it just kind of stuck with me. But either way would probably work. So once that is out, it will run whatever we're about to set up. It'll run through it this many times, 25 times. What we want it to do is we want it to create a widget. The widget we want to create is the inventory icon that we set up. The button right here. So I'm going to hook this to the loop body. Make sure that the class is the inventory icon. And then from the return value, we want to drag out and set its item info. because we want to compare this to our inventory. So we will get our inventory, the array. From there, we want to get a copy of the info at an index. So this will search the array for this index number and get the info associated with that index. The index we want to search is whatever one it's currently firing through on this round. So we'll drag that out and just set that just like that. And now we want to, from the create inventory widget, we want to drag off a return value one more time. We don't want to do it from this one. We want to do it from the return value of the actual widget. And we want to add the child. Wait. Alright, I'll drag out the inventory panel. Maybe that's the one you gotta use. So from our inventory panel, the one we set up over here, we want to drag off and add child. Yeah, there it is. Add child to uniform grid. The content that we want to add is the button that we just created. So we'll hook this up just like that. The row will be the row integer that we set up. The column. And then after we add the child, we want to up the... I always get these two confused. So let me check my notes real quick one more time. Sorry, I know it's a lot of back and forth, but let me just make sure I'm not telling you all the wrong way. Increase the column. Okay. So we should have called that column size, I guess. Yeah. Oh. Alright, so after we add the child to the uniform grid, we want to increase the column size. Yeah. Because each time it adds, we want it to move to the next slot. So it'll add... Where is it? So it'll add an array of buttons across. The first time we want it to add to the first slot, second slot, third slot, fourth slot, etc. So inside the graph, we will drag out the column one more time, and I'm going to type in INC. This is an increment, so each time it hits this node, it increases this by 1. So it'll fire through, it'll take it from 0 to 1 the first time, 2, 3. Oh, you gonna do that to me. So once it increases, we want to check and see, has it hit the maximum amount of times we want it to increase on that column, or on that row. So we'll drag off here, and we want to find out if this current number is greater than or equal to our row size. B for a branch, because if it is, then we want to set our column back to 0, and we want to increment our row this time. So just like we incremented here, we're going to increment the row. And we'll hook that just like that. And then that should be all good. Let's find out. No. Oh, because it's gray and it's gray, it's probably just not. Because she has no item info. Nope. Oh. My gosh. Okay. At the event construct, you want to make sure you call your build inventory. The build inventory function that we just set up. Yeah, there it's going. Now we got our buttons. But they're all kind of jammed together. There's no space in between it. So let's fix that real quick. So back inside the designer, we want to highlight our inventory panel. And you can adjust its child layout. So the slot padding is basically the spacing given to each individual one. This one underneath it, so like this, well, yeah, the space in between it. I'm gonna set that to about 5. This is the minimum desired slot width, so each slot will be at least this big and at least this tall. So I've found that 5 on the padding and 100 and 100 works. That's what Jackson on Titanic Games, that's the one he did, and it seemed to work out pretty good. So I'm gonna save real quick and we'll check that out real quick. Yeah, that looks nice. Looking good. Now you notice this is just plain white. Oh, we can, well, let's check our, yeah, but it's picking up our items. Look at that. Now you'll notice one thing. If you pick up an item while your menu is open, nothing happens. But if you close it and reopen it, then it's there. We're going to fix that real quick too. So in the player blueprint, under the graph where we pick up the item, right here at the very, let's get rid of that. We don't need that now. We don't need these print strings. So we drag this down a little bit. We want to find out, is the menu currently open? So I'm going to drag out the menu reference and drag off there and ask, is it valid? I'm going to hook both ends of the adding item to the array to it. So just to clarify what I'm doing right here, from the completed, when we're adding the item to our inventory, we have the found item. If we don't find the item, then we're adding a new instance to it. And if we do find an item, we're adjusting the array that we already have. From both of those, I'm going to find out if this menu reference is valid. And if it is, then I want to get inventory panel, clear the children. So this will pull out that inventory graph that we set up. It'll clear all the buttons from it. We want to hook this to the is valid, just like that. And then one more thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and build that inventory again. So once we add the item to our inventory, whether we find a new one or we're adding to an existing stack, we're checking to see that menu is open, and if it is, then we're getting our inventory panel, clearing everything from it, and then building it one more time. So let's see it in action real quick. Yeah. And it's stacking appropriately, just like I hoped it would. One thing else we can do real quick is, I don't really like that it's just completely plain white like that. It's not a very good look. So inside the interaction system, let's open up that item info struct, and we're going to set some default values. So for the item class, we want to leave it none. But for the item name, we want it to say none, or empty, or whatever you like. And under the item image, I'm just gonna drop down and type in black, because under the wait a minute. Where you at? I'm sorry, I gotta check my thing one more time. Oh, it's under the grasslands. Okay, we haven't added this. I haven't added this pack. You might have, but if you add the Infinity Blade Grasslands pack, there is under the tiles. There's just this black square. It works really well for just that plane. I wonder if we could just create a texture though. That'd be cool. Let's find out real quick. Materials and textures. Yeah, that's out of my scope, I guess. or at least for right now. But if we add that Infinity Blade Grassland pack, then we'll be able to update this to have just a black tile. Let's see if maybe there's something else we can use in the meantime, just to kind of... There ain't really nothing I can think of. You can import like a texture if you wanted to create just like a black or blank texture and just pull it in. Yeah, there ain't nothing, but at least the inventory part's working. And look, if I highlight it, it'll say none on that and health potion on that one, but it doesn't have that 0. Let's full screen real quick. So now we got our inventory. And if I open it back up, should be doing just fine. If I have it open, then yeah, that's all working pretty well. Oh, one thing, let's check real quick. Sorry. One more thing. I want to make sure that it's adjusting the stack right. So I'm going to open up one of the items real quick, and I'm just going to... No, I'm going to have to do it in the data table. Let me check the data table real quick, because I want to check and make sure that it's getting to the right stack size and then moving on. So I'm going to set my max stack to 3 real quick. You don't have to follow along with this part. This is just kind of just a test real quick. So 1, 2, 3, 4. What you doing? Max stack of the health potion should be 3. Well, that's weird. Oh. Stupid. So right here on the found item, this is where it's going wrong, I think. After we find the item and it runs through this true branch, we want to set that it has not found an item. So we'll set that right there. Because right now it's just looping through that, getting set each time. That should... Let's take a look. There's number 3. Nope. Alright, well, it's a mystery to everybody. Well, not everybody, probably not y'all. Y'all probably noticed something I did wrong where I'm just being stupid. So, I'm just going to set this back to 99 for now. But at least we're populating our inventory the right way. That does throw into question, if I have 2 of these, are they going to stack? No. Okay. Well, that's all I'm really worried about. All right. So in the next one, we'll start setting up some more menu functionality to where we can actually click one of the items. It'll select it to where we can either use it or drop it. And if we use it, it'll do certain things. So that's what we will start working on next. So thank y'all for coming by. And I'm very sorry about that meandering, me getting lost part right there at the end. But... yeah, hopefully it was still entertaining at least, or at least educational. So yeah, see y'all in the next one. Bye. You guys, I'm so dumb. I figured out why it wasn't adjusting right. Okay, so the reason it wasn't is because we set this up to, on the item's construction, it establishes its variables. So these were already established at 99. So in order for your items to update accordingly and adjust to your right stack size, you have to delete all the instances of it, then adjust your size, And then when you drag it back out, like I have it set to 3 now, so now it's populating a new version of that item. So when I open my menu now, and I try to pick it up, it goes to 3, and then it jumps to the next stack. So the blueprint actors just needed to be refreshed. So, yeah. So even if I jump back up to like 99 now, it's still going to do the same thing. See, because I have to refresh them all. So that's what that issue was, in case. So boom, 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 boom. So now when I pick them up, since they're up reconstructed, yeah, now they're stacking up okay. So if you're having the same issue, just try refreshing the blueprints that you have on your screen, dropping new ones in, and that should fix everything. So just a quick little add-on because it was bugging me. So alright, now I'll see you on the next one. Bye.